Today in this session, we are going to talk about the listeners in the JMeter. So, what are listeners in JMeter? Whenever we run our automation in JMeter, for example, this is my plan and it contains the thread group, and then I configure the two sampler here. This is HTTP request sampler and this is my JDBC request sampler. So I have added the two sampler here. Now I am going to run it. So when I will run it, suppose take the example I'm running it. So let me maximize it, and now I'm running it. So when I run it, you can see that it is running, and here it is running and run. You can say execution is completed, but how I can see the result, that what happens, that how many requests are you can say sent from JMeter to the application, they are passed, failed, and a different type of information we need to be gathered. So how we can see that information, how that is available. So for that purpose, you can say JMeter provides you an option that is called listeners. With the help of listener, you can see the details of your request and response, like how many requests you have sent, okay, what was the name, what was the start time, what was the status. You can get different type of details. So you have different type of views for that. Like for example, this is the table view. This is the table view of your result, and this is the tree view of the result here. So every view has their own advantage. So now I will show you this thing practically. So this is my plan. This is my thread group, first thread group, and I have to, you can say sampler here. This is a configuration related thing. So in my next video or in my upcoming video, I will tell you about the each and every sampler properly, like how we can configure the HTTP request, how we can configure the JDB request and other type of request. So in this video, we are covering the listener part, like how we can see the results here. So for that purpose, you can make a right click on your thread group and you can add a, you can say listener here. You can add the listener at the test plan level also. Here you can go add, and here you can go to the listener, and here you can add listeners, like you can say result view. And let me add one more listener, that is, you can say that you can add table view. So these are the two important listener. Again, the thing is that you can add this listeners at the plan level. You can add these listeners at the you can say thread group level, or you want to configure, you can configure at, you can say this request level also. Like you can see that if I want to configure this result as a JDB request level, I can put it here. So you can say that now it will be visible for the JDB request only. Okay, now if you want to select put it for, you can say now it will be visible for, you can say JDBC request only. Now you want to put it for, you can say whole thread group, you can put it here also, like you can say that. Now this view result, and let me show you this one. So now this result view, you can say, is available at a you can say thread level. Okay, so I'm just putting it here so that you can see every type of request properly. And now let me run it, and we'll discuss about the different aspect of the your listeners. So I executed it. Now you can say when I executed it, you can see that it is showing me different type of results here. So first of all, let me talk about the view results in table view. So here you can say in table view, we can get the information like this is the sample. Sample means number of requests, type number of, it is counting the number of requests. So sample means you have, you can say that you have 10, 20 samples here. Okay, and why there are 20 sample? You know that we have you can say 10 users are there. We have 10 users, and every user is allowed to send a one request. Okay, so here important thing is that 10 user is allowed to send one request, but also how many requests are there? We have two requests. One is HTTP request and another is JDBC request. It means every user is allowed to send one HTTP request and one JDB request. So in simple word, you can say that every user out of 10, every user is allowed to send each type a request once, like one request this one and one request this one. So if you talk about that, how many total number of request or request will be in whole, you can say execution, 10 multiply by, you can say we have one, and one multiply number of samples, we have one two samples. So it means total two requests we have for every user. We have to send two requests, and number of users are 10. So 10 multiply by 2, it will become 20. Okay, so if we have three requests here, so it means every user is allowed to send one type of every request. So it means every user can send three requests. So 3 multiplied 10 will become 30. So this is the rule for the, you can say, number of requests. Now let me come here. So sample is sending you the number of requests. Its start time means when this request was triggered from the JMeter, and this is the name of the thread. Like here you can say this is the first thread, first user, okay, and which is sending the label. Here you can say with the help of label you can see that which type of request it is. So first thread user send get student by ID request, and the same time another same user has sent a, you can say, JDBC request. Same thing you can say for every user, second user, third user, we are able to see the both type of requests. Okay, so if we have 3 type, 4 type requests are there, so every user will send all type of requests configured under the thread group here. So this is start time, telling the start time of the request. This is the thread name. Okay, so here thread name, why it is showing the thread name also, we know that we can create multiple threads group also. Like this is one thread group. If you want, we can create multiple thread group. So in that case, whenever you are creating multiple thread groups in your automation, how it is going to be displayed here, it will show you the thread group as well as the user here. Now what is the sample time? Sample time means it is showing you the time which is taken by the request, and sample time means it is the total time, means the request is sent to the server, and then the response come back to the JMeter. So this is the total time. Okay, so like for example, for this request, the time, the total time is 11 millisecond. For JDBC request it is 31. So for different user you can say it is showing the different time, because it depends on that how that user get a chance to send a request and how much time it get from the time taken to get the response from the server. So it varies from every user and every type of request here. Here the status means when we send the request we got the success response, because sometimes happen that we send the request and maybe we got the response other than success. It can be 400, it can be 500, any type of. So here you can see the status means when this request is you can say triggered, the status was pass here. Now what is bytes? Bytes means you can say it is the total number of bytes. It is the total number of bytes which is coming in the response. Means you can say that whenever request is sent, you know that we are sending a request, so response will come. So the size of the response in terms of bytes is shown here. Like you can say, that's why you can say we have sent a same type request here. So that's why you can say that for every thread, same type of request, the response is same, because we are using the same type of request. Means we are, if you see that I am trying to get the data of the third id, I'm trying to get the data for the id 3. So definitely every thread is sending the same request. If we are going to put it different for every user, like for one user one thread it is 2, one a thread is 4, so definitely you will see the difference, and that I will show you in my upcoming sessions also. Now let me come back to the table view. So this is the total data and the response, and now this is the bytes which is sending means this is the size of the data in the, you can say, in the request data which you have sent from the, you can say, JMeter. So in the get stream ID, you can say size is 233, because we are sending some request data here, right? If you talk about the JDBC, here you can say that we are just creating a query here. We are not sending any request data in terms of bytes, so that's why you can able to see that it is showing you the 000. Okay, it is a simple JDBC request. Now here you can say what is latency. Latency is the time, means you can say what happens that whenever you send a request to the server. So if you have learned this thing in your academic time, what is happening whenever you send a request to the server actually, you can say, send the response, not all the response in one go. It actually sends the response in the small packets. It send the small packets, you can say, in the small chunks. So when the first chunk, or you can say first data packet, reach to the, you can say, to the, you can say, to the client which has sent the request, it sent to the, you can say, client. In our case client is JMeter. So when the first response packet comes to the JMeter, that is called latency time. Okay, and now you can say after that, what is the connect time? Connect time means whenever you try to connect with the application of a server, there is a process that is called handshake. Means your client send a request to the server, then server send a acknowledge that okay, now we are just connected. Okay, this topic is known as handshaking. So this is the concept of a client server architecture. So whenever this handshaking comes into the completed, this is called connect time. Is client send a request, server send a acknowledge, like okay, I'm ready to give you the response for this whole you can say connection. So this is called connect time. Okay, so these type of information you can get it here, and below you can say that here you can get the information like total number of samples, means total number of requests is created, and here you can say that you can say latest sample, what is the latest sample, you can say that is one, and here you can get the average, and here you can see the deviation. So these type of information you can get it here. Okay, you can say other than it, you have a view result tree view also. In the tree view, the difference is that here in the table view we focus about those aspect of the you can say those parameters, and in the tree view we focus on the http request and response, something like that. For example, if I click on get stream by id request, you can say that this is the sample result you want to see, that okay, like 200. Okay, what request is generated, so you can say this is the request which is generated for my particular ip here. This was the my response, everything you can see here. This was the my response header, so everything you can see here. Here you can say that this request is sent to the glassfish server. So these type of information you can see in your it is something like you can say in your report also, or you can see your dashboard also. If you go for the jdb request, in the same way you can say that this is the result here, you can say this is the request. Okay, this query I have just fired it. If you want to see that from where I have fired it, this is jdbc, and here you can configure it. So I will talk about in the detail about that also. Let me come back here. This is request, and this is request header, and this is response data. Like this is the response data here. So you can say that this is the response data, and here you can see the sample result here. So in this way you can say you can see different type of you can say different type of view you can see in your this jdbc, you can say request or any type of request. Okay, so it means short, you can say the purpose of listener is to show you the request and response detail in the different type of view like table and tree. Now we have one more advantage. If you want to save the detail in any particular file, you have an option for that. How you can save it? You can simply do one thing. You can select here, go to the browse, and in the browse you can create here file, and two options are there. If you have an existing file, it will load the data and you can show the result here, and if you want to create your own, you can create it. For example, I will do one thing. I'm creating a name of the file like for example PRALISTER listener listener demo, and dot I'm saying CSV, because what happens that it creates the CSV comma separated file. So let me create on all files. So here you can say in the bin it will save this file. Let me open it. So when I click on open it, definitely you will get the you can say error message that this file do not exist, because this file do not exist. But when I run it again, it will create this file on this particular location. Okay, so now let me run it again. Let me clear it, and now let me run it. So when I run it, you can do one thing. You can go to this location in my JMeter bin. PRA listed demo.csv should be there. So this is my bin, and in my bin, I can show you this particular file here. So here you can say Pradeep, this one, PRA listener demo.csv is there. If you double click on that, you can see that it will open the file, and the same data you are able to see on your JMeter side that is saved here. Okay. In the same way, if you want, you can save the data for the tree view also. You have to do the same thing here. Okay, one another thing also, whenever you are going to run it, okay, you can control that what type of information should be displayed in terms of listeners. So you can click on the errors if you want to show the error success, and if you want to configure, you can click on configure it also. And these type of information like save response file name, save encoding, different type of information is there which you want to put as a header, so you can do it. Okay, so you can say let me simply done it, and in this way you can use this information. So I hope you got the idea of that, what is listeners and what is the purpose of listeners. So we will meet in the next session. We will talk about the other components of the JMeter. Thank you.